Hi, this is a video going over the syllabus for spring 2023, Chemistry 121. My name is Robert Kovacic. You can call me Rob. 5 credit class. This is online. You're going to be doing your labs at home. I sent an email out to you guys yesterday, and that email was that you're going to need to come in to pick up the at-home chemistry kit sometime in the coming week. So I will be available from 10 to 1 on the Dalles campus on Monday, and 10 to 1 on Hood River campus on Tuesday, and 4 to 6 on the let me check, make sure it was 4. Sorry. Is it 4? Looking for the email I sent out to you guys. Yeah, 4 to 6 in the Dalles on Wednesday and 4 to 6 in Hood River on Thursday. If one of those times does not work out for you, let me know and we'll figure something else out. You're going to need to give yourself about 20 minutes because you're going to go through the whole kit to make sure everything's there. I had some issues last quarter and we're not going to let that happen again. All right, so I will be doing Zoom tutoring on Mondays, Wednesdays, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Monday and Wednesday are at 6 p.m. and the link is on Moodle. And Tuesday is in the morning at 11 a.m. There's my email address. The book that we're going to be using is free. It's the OpenStax book, Chemistry Edition 2. You're going to need a scientific calculator. A scientific calculator is a calculator that can do the e to the x function or 10 to the x function. And I talk about that in one of the lecture videos. So this is a class for a person who hasn't taken chemistry before. And we're going to be talking about atoms, of course, and we talk about chemical reactions. We're talking about some thermodynamics and gases and aqueous reactions and whatnot. There'll be a little bit of use of, well, a significant amount of use of math that you probably haven't used before, or at least not in this format. So we're going to first talk about how chemistry has impacted your everyday life. It's significant. The impact of your everyday life is significant. Think about all the things that you have around you, and every single one of those things, chemistry has something to do with. I mean, you might be saying, oh, I have an apple right here. That doesn't have anything to do with me. It does. Somebody came up with some sort of pesticide or herbicide to make sure that that apple doesn't have wormholes in it or blight on it. Also, the apple itself, there are very few apples that have not been genetically modified in some fashion, whether it just be crossbreeding or other methods. We're also going to do a lot of critical thinking in this class, especially in your labs, because you're going to get some information in the labs, but you're going to have to think about what that means. And then you're going to have to think about what the observations that are created by those lab procedures are. We're going to think about how this affects the environment and our community. The math that you learned in high school, you're going to be using it here. And it'll probably present itself in a slightly different fashion because usually in math, they're just numbers, but here we're going to have to use numbers and units. Every number that we're going to produce needs to have a unit on it. And by unit, I mean something like length. So meters or feet or miles or a time or a gas pressure in pounds per square inch or atmospheres or torr. We're also going to have to be able to communicate effectively with your lab reports. So when you're finished with a lab report, what I'm going to need for you to be able, what that lab report is going to need to be able to do is I should be able to take your lab report and reproduce your work exactly. And that's the essence of science, that a person does something and then produces some kind of document that another person can take and reproduce that work. That is quintessential science. If you can't reproduce what the person did, then what they did is false. They made a mistake or something of that nature. And that's taken reared its head several times in science. And we'll talk about that also in lecture. The collaboration stuff, a little bit within Moodle, and we're going to be talking about different homework, different questions from the end of the chapter, and critically evaluate sources of scientific information to determine the validity of the data. Super important. No fake news here. You come up with a data source, and that data source needs to be a valid data source. What makes a source valid? It needs to be a source that has some sort of peer review associated with it. So CNN is not a source. Facebook is not a source. Wikipedia itself is not a source, although at the end of the Wikipedia page, there will be a bunch of links that are probably sources. That's how I use Wikipedia. Just go to the bottom after I found something and then go to the source where the person posted that within Wikipedia. I'm expecting you to log on several times a week. Homework or labs or papers, all this stuff that's late, you're going to lose a significant portion of your grade. I'm going to end up posting reviews of the homeworks and of the labs. And if you posted your homework or lab after I posted that, then the credit you're going to earn for that assignment is going to be minimal, because I go through every step of the process. And so obviously you could just watch the video and copy what I do. So once I posted that, you're not going to get hardly anything, if anything at all, for credit for that posting. No extra credit, just work on the credit you got. The grading, lots of different types of grading assignments. We're going to go over those specifically here. All of the work that you produce will generate points that you can earn, and each one of those points is exactly equal to all the rest of the points. So if you earn 1 point on an assignment, a homework assignment, that's exactly the same as 1 point on a forum posting, or 1 point on a quiz, or 1 point on your paper or lab. So every point is weighted equally. And then those are the percentage of points earned associated with the grades that you'll earn. And that at the end of the quarter, I'll post out what those numbers actually are. Well, actually, I know that right now. There are 584 total possible points you can earn. And so 90% of that or more will get you an A. So we're going to do a homework assignment for 2 per week. So that'll end up being 22 total homework assignments. We're going to have 1 paper, and that paper is, you're going to find a plant that has some sort of known medical use. You're going to find papers that talk about that known medical use, and then you're going to write a paper that's about 800 words, and you're going to use APA format to cite your source. You're going to submit everything as a PDF. Homework assignments, your paper, all this stuff is submitted as a PDF. There's a video that I've just created that will show you how to do that so your formatting doesn't get messed up. Participation, so that'll be forums, and you're going to be posting 2 questions from the end of the chapter. And then I've got the chapters associated with the week. So week 1, chapter 1, week 2, chapter 2, week 3, chapter 2. So make sure that you're looking at the weeks and not posting from weeks that we're not, chapters that we're not actually concentrating on that particular week. And you can totally work ahead. You can knock all this out as fast as you like. The quizzes will be administered by Moodle. There'll be a large test bank, and questions will be pulled out of it for the most part, although there is 1 quiz that's different than that. And you can click into the quizzes before you take the quizzes and see exactly what's going to be happening and what chapters that's going to be talking about, that quiz will be talking about. The labs are 20 points apiece. You're going to be doing those at home. You're going to have 10 labs. And they're going to be, you're going to need to take photos and write down observations when you're doing this. So make sure that you're ready with either a camera or a phone that's got a camera on it. No, well, I guess landline phones don't have them, but who uses a landline? All right, so we got some rules. When you're performing labs, make sure you pick a good place that's clear of obstacles and distractions. Don't like have it in the middle of your living room, especially if you have carpet, like that's not going to work. You need to be wearing eye protection at all times. The eye protection will be provided within the kits. If you're wearing contacts, you need to take them out. You have to wear glasses for this. You cannot wear contact lenses. These labs will, some of them will produce gases, and those gases can get trapped in between your contact lens and your eye, and that can cause some serious problems for you. There's no goofing around. I know people think about chemistry and they think about blowing stuff up. I don't want anybody blowing anything up. So no goofing off. The most important one of these is ensure that what you want is what you have. So if you're about ready to mix a couple of things together, make sure that those 2 things are actually what you want to mix together. Because if you mix say like a white powder with a clear colorless liquid, something might happen. If you mix it with a different clear colorless liquid, a completely different reaction might happen. So make sure that you know exactly what you have and what it is that you're mixing. Okay, so here's our calendar, and I'll show this again within Moodle. What you're going to see is labs are due every single Monday. What you're going to see is homeworks are going to be due on Wednesdays, and homeworks are going to be due on Fridays. You're going to post 2 questions on the forums on Tuesdays. And by Thursday, you will have answered somebody else's post on that forum. Your quizzes are going to be due on Fridays. Every single week, this is the way it's going to look. It's identical all the way down. Please don't cheat. There's a plagiarism software within Moodle. If you're copying stuff, especially if it's from somebody from this institution, it will pop up and it will show me that you've copied it, and I will not give you credit for the assignment. If we have any accommodation that needs to be made, please let me know as soon as possible. There's no discrimination. The flexibility statement doesn't so much apply to us because this is usually about weather, and we don't need to worry about weather with this class because it's all at home. Alternative assignments is about an ADA statement kind of stuff. If I see anybody doing anything that is disrespectful to anybody else, you will be removed from the class immediately, period. And if you have any questions, you can talk with Shana Dahl in Student Support Services to help out with those things. The other technical support stuff is we're using Moodle, and I'm actually the Moodle administrator. So if you have an issue with Moodle, you can just ask me and I will fix it, even if it's in another class. So here's Moodle. If you haven't used it before, hopefully this works out well for you. So a couple of things to notice. First off, you can get to your assignments and forum postings and quizzes really easily going over here. The calendar is great. It's telling, if you hover over the calendar, it says, all right, so on April 5th, homework 1 is due. On April, week 1, a question is due for you for posting things in the forum. Here you can see that quiz 1 is due and homework 2 is due. And on Monday, lab 1 is due. So you can just watch this calendar to see what's due, what days. You can even click, like here's homework 1, you can click on that day and then it takes you, I can go to the activity straight from the calendar, and there's homework 11. Okay, so if I have any announcements, I'll post lots of stuff up here in the announcements forum, and those things should get emailed to your college email account. I have some tutorial videos on here. Tutorial videos include how to log into Moodle. So kind of backwards here. If you've already gotten to Moodle, then you probably don't need this one, but this is also posted on the college's webpage. Finding your class and finding your profile and your classmates within Moodle. This one's about using different things within Moodle. Ally is a piece of software that will produce different documents for you. If you don't have Microsoft Word, you can make, and the Microsoft Word is the document that you're downloading. You can make it download as a PDF instead. You can even make it download as an MP3 file, which is kind of funny. It will read stuff back to you. I need you to watch this so you can learn about how to add a submission, to how to find instructors grading and feedback. That's going to be important. And then creating a PDF. Moodle does something when you say submit a Word doc. It'll change that Word doc into a PDF so I can grade it. And then that Word doc might have its formatting modified if you don't use this format. So if you're creating a Word doc, you actually want to print as a PDF and submit that PDF. But this video here goes over that. Then we've also got my introduction, who I am, why I love chemistry. Here's the syllabus. This is this video that you're watching right now. That's this thing. This Zoom tutoring link. This will be something that you can click into on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday during those scheduled times, or other times. There are lots of times when the student just needs 5 minutes so they can ask a specific question. I can give them a specific answer. So I have no problem working with those, and message me anytime. I am probably the fastest instructor to get back to you. This is the tutoring page, and this page will, for the college in general, we call it the Cove. It's in the library, and there are like math tutoring times, writing tutoring times and science tutoring times that you can get other instructors. And you can see here are my tutoring and then the link for that. I hope that link's right. I'm gonna have to check that. What's that say? 466. Sorry. Nope, that's wrong. I'm gonna have to get him to change that. But I just did this. Okay. There's some stuff you're gonna need to memorize. These guys here. If you do not memorize these, the quizzes are going to become very difficult because they have a timed portion to it. So you might be able to get the first 3 or 4 correct, but the rest of them you're going to get wrong because you ran out of time and the timer clicked off. Really, this memorization stuff, this is sort of the vocabulary memorization stuff for chemistry. Some worksheets. If you're having trouble with something, I can direct you to a particular worksheet, give you some extra practice. We'll probably access this science interest stuff. And this is this is Open Office. This is very similar to Microsoft Office, but it's free. So if you don't have Microsoft Office on your computer, whether you have a Mac or a PC, or even Linux, you can download Open Office and it's totally free and it behaves exactly like Word or PowerPoint or Excel. They've got all of those things on there. So use that if you don't already have it. So the lecture videos are going to be here. There's a lab safety video I need you to watch, a lab equipment video, how to use a couple of pieces of equipment in the lab. And homework review videos are going to be here and the lab review videos are going to be here. So these are empty right now, but after the homeworks and the labs have been turned in or they are due, then I will post videos to review those things. These notes are analogous to the chapters. So this is chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 6, and chapter 9. So those are the chapters that we're going to be going over in this class. Here's the textbook again. And again, we're going to be going over 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 9. And here's a solutions guide that they give you too for some of those questions in the back of the book. The paper, again, it's here. I want you to post by May 6th, Saturday, May 6th, what plant you're going to be writing about. And if you have any questions about research, you can ask the librarian, Tori Stanek. She's fantastic. She knows exactly what she's doing. So all your homework assignments are here and you can get started on those if you like. They're all of them all the way up through week 11. The discussion board postings are here. And you can click on this, you can see the due dates are there, and it's telling you need to post 2 questions from exercises at the end of the chapter for chapter 1. So all of that stuff is laid out here for you. The labs are here. There's some lab photos here. The lab photos, if you're not sure what a crucible is, like you can click on this image and it'll show you, hey, this is what a crucible looks like. And setups for different things. So, yeah, hopefully you're helpful. And then the labs are all here. You're going to submit in these spots once you're finished with them. The last lab is actually 2 weeks because there's basically a crystallization process that I want you to take several days to complete. So there'll be a day 1 portion for lab, for the last lab, and then there'll be a day 2 portion. So that'll be lab 9 and lab 10. The quizzes, the first quiz is a little bit different than the rest of them. But you'll take that. That's due by Friday, April 7th. And then as you can see, all the rest of the quizzes are also due on Fridays. And that's it for Moodle. If you, this class will populate on your sidebar at 12:01 a.m. on the 3rd, as well as all the rest of your spring term courses. If you've got a spring term course that isn't here, you're either 1, not registered for it, 2, your instructor has failed to add you to the class, and they should be doing that the day before class starts. And the last thing would be something's wrong with the setup of the class. And so if you contact your instructor or contact me, I can get that fixed. So it'll show up here in your sidebar. You can get rid of that sidebar using this. The other way to find your class is you can click on home at any time. That'll take you to the main page. And here are all the spring 2023 classes. So if you're in Art 212, there it is right there. If you're in Soc 204, there it is. The other way to find it is to click on your name and click on Dashboard. Dashboard. And you can click on this dialog drop down box here. These are the classes that are in progress. So no chemistry classes, past, I've got lots of chemistry classes here, and you might have a bunch of other classes. It's taking a while to populate. And then future classes. So right now, the spring term course is not scheduled till tomorrow. So this is in the future section. The other way is you can click on your name and click on profile and scroll to the bottom, and here, all your classes will be here. And if you have too many to fit there, you can click on view more. And now you've really got all of your classes. So those are 3 different ways to find your class, even if it's not popping up in your sidebar here. All right, that's all. Hopefully we have a great term. Contact me if you need anything.